I cannot believe that we are just one day away from October baseball. 2021 has absolutely flown by, so I just want to say thank you all so much for watching these videos. And if you're brand new to the channel, we're still going to do this into the postseason, so don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. And if you're going to any playoff games, they do get a little expensive, so make sure to use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save yourself 20 bucks off your entire order. We had like 4 or 5 players making history yesterday. Marcus Semien, Bo Bichette in the same game, Wander Franco, Salvador Perez, and Shohei Ohtani. Trevor Story most likely played his final game at Coors Field. Now, quick little injury update before we get into the highlights from yesterday. I didn't even know that this happened until I was doing my script this morning. Devin Williams, the 2020 NL Rookie of the Year, one of the best relief pitchers in all of baseball. I mean, he hasn't been the best this year, but he is still incredibly nasty. On his way home, apparently he fractured his own right hand. I guess he had a few too many after the Brewers clinched a spot, and he just was inebriated. He didn't know what he was doing, and he punched a wall because he was upset at himself. I don't know why he did it, but he is the third pitcher, Jesus Luzardo, Huascar Ynoa, and now Devin Williams, the third guy to break their own hand in a season in which they're actually having a pretty good year. I mean, aside from Jesus Luzardo. But either way, let's see if the Brewers could get a W for their guy who was feeling very bad after he broke his own hand. We're talking about Devin Williams, of course. So the Cardinals are on a 17-game winning streak, and Eduardo Escobar, he starts the game off with an RBI ground out. And Adrian Hauser, he is one of like 9 elite starting pitchers for the Brewers, so I think if there was one team that was going to lose their best relief pitcher, I guess second best behind Josh Hader, it's the Brewers, because they can plug in Hauser or they can plug in Lauer or anyone like that in a 7-game series to go the final 3 or 4 innings of any game. Hauser goes 5 shutout, only allows 3 base hits, and Vogie, he smokes a 2-run moonshot in the 6th inning, and Manu Pena, he adds another one in the 7th. Now, I do want to notate that even though the Cardinals, they lose their 17-game win streak, Jack Flaherty, he came in for relief yesterday and looked really good. And speaking of relief, Aaron Ashby, he went 2 innings of relief, did not allow a single base hit, and had 5 strikeouts. The Brewers right now look like the most underrated / dark horse team to win the World Series because their pitching staff is so good and their offense, it's elite as well. I just want to tip my cap real quick to the Cardinals. They caught fire at the right time, and I hope that they keep this momentum going into the playoffs, because it's most likely looking like Dodgers versus Cardinals, and that is going to be a wild card game. The Rays faced off against the Astros, and Wander Franco on this double in the 1st inning, he extends his on-base streak to 43 games, so he ties Frank Robinson for the most ever by a 20 or younger player. You have Mejia driving an RBI on a single in the 2nd, and Brandon Lau has been so good. He now has 90 RBIs and a 136 OPS plus to go along with 35 home runs. He's just barely above being a 5'9 king. He's 5'10, so unfortunately we can't count him. Maldi makes an incredible play for the Astros, but that was it for the Houston highlights, as Margot, he shows off with a web gem of his own. Ji-Man Choi has an almost 120 OPS plus after his 11th home run, and Drew Rasmussen, they stole him from the Brewers. 5 shutout innings, only 1 base hit, and then Wander Franco in the final inning, he shows off the bunnies. He has 30 extra base hits and a 3.4 WAR in his first 60
that you
I cannot say that sentence. You know what I'm going to say? In his first 60-ish games. I mean, honestly, if he had played 120, he would be a Rookie of the Year. Because the Astros lost, the A season could not be ended yesterday, even if the Mariners won, and that's exactly what happened. Logan Gilbert and Frankie Montas, this was a fun pitching duel. They both went 5 shutout innings until Tony Kemp, he ruins the shutout. It was still a quality start for Logan Gilbert, but he had his team down 1-0. JK, Jared Kelenic with a 2-run double. He puts his own team up by a single run, only to have Seth Brown, another lefty, tied up on a home run in the very next frame. But the Mariners, they were not done just yet. Ty France misses a home run by 2 feet, but he scores a run on that sac fly. And Abraham Toro, he wants some more. And Abraham Toro, he lifts off. The guy has been really good so far, just at getting on base and coming in clutch for the Mariners ever since he was traded for. And Steckenrider, I still don't know his first name. I just know my Steckenrider has 13 saves. Good for him. He has stolen the closing spot. So the Mariners, even though they're 26th in team OPS and 17th in team ERA, they have been blessed by the baseball gods as the magical team of 2021, so good for them. All right, let's talk about some more history, shall we? The Angels faced off against the Rangers in a completely meaningless game, but the Angels, they do score 2 early on, and Jared Walsh, he shows off the leather on a sick play at first base. Ohtani, he uses his wheels for a single, and then he steals his 25th bag. He made history on that one. Well, actually, he made history in just a second. His single and stolen base started a 4-run 6th inning for the the Angels, and none of these runs came via an extra base hit. They were all singles or groundouts and stuff like that. Ohtani, he steals his 26th base in the 9th inning, and he became the first player in American League history with 45 home runs, 25 stolen bases, and 100 runs in a single season. Every other player that has done it was in the National League. Barry Bonds, Larry Walker, and people like that. So again, he is the MVP. I'm sorry, Vladdy Jr. fans. It's Shohei's to lose. We're not done with history, ladies and gentlemen. Salvador Perez hit a 3-run home run for his 200th home run of his career, and that was his 48th of the 2021 season, so he ties Jorge Soler for the most in Kansas City history, and he has a whopping 121 RBIs. You have Kyle Isbell and Whit Merrifield making it a 5-1 game, as Cleveland, yes, they stormed back to tie it up at 5 runs apiece, but then Dozier, he has a 2-run triple in the 7th. He scores on a wild pitch. The Cleveland pitching staff was just overall embarrassing yesterday. Nick Wickman has been terrible all year, and same with the last guy, Garza. Plesac, he was all right. I mean, 5 earned runs. That's not good. The Jays versus the Yankees. More history. Marcus Semien, he made history off Gerrit Cole. He has 44 home runs on the season. That is the most in MLB history by a primary second baseman. George Springer adds an RBI on a single, and the Blue Jays score in 3 consecutive innings as Bo Bichette blasts off for his 27th, which is a Blue Jays record for a shortstop. He also has 100 RBIs. The ball drops in between Gio Urshela and Joey Gallo on some bad communication. George Springer is able to get on, and Vladdy brings him home, so the score is 5-3. But Higgy, he ties it up at 5-5. But shout out to Adam Simber. He was not very good with Cleveland. He wasn't very good for the Marlins, but he has been sensational for Toronto. Comes in for a scoreless relief inning, and then Bo hits his 2nd home run of the game. He has a 5.5 WAR, and in my opinion, we are looking at a couple future Hall of Famers between Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette. Jordan Romano, he collects his 22nd save of the year, and the Yankees, that was a big-time loss. Gerrit Cole now has a mid-3 ERA, and 6 times this year he has given up 5 or more runs. That's not good. You can't have that as an ace. And then the final team that I want to talk about from the AL wildcard race, we have the Boston Red Sox against the Orioles, and JD connects in the 2nd for a home run. He drives in his 98th. Nasty Nate, he showed up. Nathan Eovaldi, and now I know it was against Baltimore, but still, when you have 7 strikeouts and only 1 walk and 6 shutout innings, that is an incredible start no matter what. The bullpen doesn't allow a single base hit the rest of the game, as Alex Verdugo drives in 2, and Hunter Renfroe now joins the 30 home run club. So the wild card, 4 teams are in the thick of things. Hey guys, it's Fuzzy from the future. I legitimately thought the Mariners were behind the Jays, but look at Seattle. They're a half game back of 2nd place. They're ahead of Toronto, and the A's, they're 4.5 games out. If they lose any game going forward, it is going to be a done deal for the A's. So let me know in the comment section down below, who do you think are going to be the top 2 teams in the AL wildcard? Now let's talk about the NL West before we talk about the Braves versus Phillies game. We have the Giants facing off against the Diamondbacks, and it was a pretty easy game to recap. You have Alex Wood and Merrill Kelly. They were shoving. Kelly goes 5 shutout, only 3 hits, and Alex Wood one-upped him by 6 shutout innings with 6 strikeouts. KB, he delivers with the only run of the game. Well, actually, Steven Duggar hits a 3-run oppo. Never mind. Dalton Varsho, we have been talking about this kid a lot over the last couple months. He might be the most versatile player in all of baseball. He can play center field. He has caught 80-something games, and he's robbing home runs over in left field. But Camilo Doval, he strikes out 2 for his 2nd save of his young career, as San Francisco is now sitting at 104 wins, just 2 away from their franchise record. The Dodgers versus the Padres, easily the most wild game from yesterday. The offense for LA was cooking. They were up 2-0 after 2 singles, and then 4-0 after a 2-run bomb from AJ Pollock. But Scherzer unfortunately gave away his Cy Young opportunity after his last 2 starts, including yesterday. Caratini has a home run. Manny Machado hits a 2-run dong. Frazier has a ground rule double right before Will Myers, he scores on an error from Corey Seager. And then unfortunately, Gavin Lux, he does have to leave the game after Will Myers, he hits it to the gap. Now, I appreciate the effort, but unfortunately, it is going to cost Gavin Lux maybe a day or 2 or more if he is that injured. So they lose the lead and Gavin on the same play. It ends up being 9-5. But then the Dodgers activated a cheat code, auto home run cheat code. Mookie Betts has a home run. Max Muncy hits 1. AJ Pollock hits a home run. Cody Bellinger ties it up, and Corey Seager, he wins it with a 2-run shot, as Kenley Jansen, he delivers with his 37th save of the year. He is back in business. I could not be happier for him, because a lot of people thought that he was washed. So the NL West, you have the Giants still 2 games ahead of the Dodgers with 4 games left. We're going to talk about that every single day going forward. The Braves versus the Phillies. Atlanta scores 2 early runs, and Eddie Rosario continues to stay hot in the 3rd on an RBI double. Max Fried, he outdueled Angels, Aaron Nola, he goes 7 innings, only allows 1 earned run with 0 walks, and has 6 strikeouts. The Philly bullpen implodes as Atlanta scores 4 in the 7th, and to be honest, it didn't even matter. Austin Riley now has 103 RBIs. Dansby has 87 RBIs. The Braves pitching staff has come in big time over the last 72 hours, as Philly has only scored 3 runs total in the last 18 innings. Atlanta has a top 10 offense in terms of OPS, and they're in the top 10 for team ERA, so they are looking scary going into the playoffs. So the Braves, they can secure a playoff spot with 1 more win or 1 more Phillies loss. Now, let's go ahead and get into the fast cap from yesterday. These are the games that play absolutely no role into the wild card or the standings, but they were still of importance. The Rockies versus the Nationals. CJ Cron, he singles in the first run, and Ryan McMahon, he rips his 23rd home run. He also has 85 RBIs and has played Gold Glove defense. The Rockies pop off for 5 more in the 3rd and the 5th, and Soto, I just want to show this real quick because he has improved so much defensively with a nice grab in the bottom of the 6th. And Trevor Story, he had 4 hits yesterday. He has averaged 34 home runs and 22 stolen bases, along with being a vacuum at shortstop, and he accumulated an almost 27 WAR in just 6 seasons. That is a Hall of Fame talent, ladies and gentlemen, and the Rockies are about to give him away. The Cubs faced off against the Pirates, and look at Roansy Contreras in his debut. 3 shutout innings with 4 strikeouts. He has some nasty stuff. I like his future. But the other Contreras on the other team, Wilson, he stole the show. He drove in all 3 runs for Chicago, and that was all that she wrote. Jorge Polanco has been playing out of his mind in the second half. He now has 32 home runs, 35 doubles, 11 stolen bases, and a 5.2 WAR on the season. Byron Buxton, he robs what would have been the game-tying home run, and Kepler and Gordon, they make it 5-1. And I just wanted to mention Akil Baddoo. He had 2 base hits and a stolen base in yesterday's game, so he has 40 extra base hits, 15 stolen bases, and a 113 OPS plus in his first 120 games. That's pretty good for a guy who's coming off Tommy John surgery and only played an A-ball before he got called up to the big leagues this year. The White Sox versus the Reds. Gavin Sheets is a grown man. Yes, his swing is a little bit long, but it works. Leury Garcia and Gavin Sheets, they double the lead in the 4th, and Carlos Rodon in his final start of the season was a beauty. Only 1 hit and 5 shutout. He ends the season with a 2.37 ERA and a 2.64 FIP, so he is going to be in the thick of the Cy Young Award race in the AL. TA7, Tim Anderson, with his 17th home run. He now has a 122 OPS plus and a 6.3 WAR over his last 169 games. You better put some respect on that guy's name. And then last but not least, the Marlins versus the Mets. Michael Conforto belts a 469-foot very nice bomb for his 13th of the season. Hopefully he can finish strong because he cost himself millions of dollars by underperforming in his contract year. Fast forward to the 8th when Alex Jackson, Ajax, he doubles in Lewin Diaz, and Miggy Rowe, he bloops in 2 more for the lead, and Floro has an easy 9th inning as the Mets. They have to be in the discussion for the most disappointing team in all of 2021. And also, let me know in the comment section down below, who do you think has been the most disappointing player and team of this entire season? I'm probably going to go with Cody Bellinger and the Mets for the most disappointing player and team. Well, everyone, that does it for today's MLB recap. Tomorrow, I'm going to bring back the Halloween setup, so it should be a lot of fun to end the final weeks of the season. Stay safe out there. Thank you all so much for your support, and enjoy this day in MLB history.
He is 18th on the all-time hit list. Tim Fortuno's pitch ripped on 1 hop off Overfell into right field. Bradder on first. He is safe, and the teammates feel it's a hit. And that is number 3,000. The fireworks go off. George Brett.